An ultimate day, which means upper bracket final time. We've lost Liquid as well. Again, another major passes them by without a victory. And it also means we only have one team remaining who's previously won a major, and that one is Virtus Pro. They'll be in action a little bit later on in the lower bracket, going head-to-head with TNC. We turn our attention now to the upper bracket, which is Mineski and LGD. They've been the best two teams through the group stages and along the top of the road of the upper bracket. And if either of these two teams gets to the final, they'll add more DPC points to their names and lift both of them inside the top 8. Mineski are already there, and if they win this match, just this match, not the grand final, they will go 4th in the DPC standings. That's how big this major is. Alongside that, we also have the story of a brand new champion. No SEA team and no Chinese team has ever won a major. And right now, there are 3 out of the last 4 teams. Let's preview that upper bracket final with our panel. We welcome Capitalist back alongside Jack and Kyle. How you doing?
Good.
Yeah, looking forward to this?
Yeah, absolutely. It was fun watching those best of ones. Yeah. And, you know, best of ones are always really, let's say, tight. You know, you start off and you're just like, oh, there's only one game into elimination. And it's exciting to watch from that regard. A little bit sad watching both the teams go. But.
Yeah, but exciting 4 teams. And like, I feel with 4 majors left and 2 minors left, there's still a lot of points to grab. But this feels like it could be a pivotal moment in the season.
I mean, I think there was, at least I thought from the start of this that there was always going to be a team or maybe a couple teams who would stand out towards the very end of the season, right? Who finally managed to get going and were able to claim some of those last share of points before the final 8 was secured. And it does seem like we have a lot of different people who could do that.
Welcome on stage, Mineski. Welcome on stage, LGD Gaming.
Both teams looking relatively calm and relaxed as they head into the arena for what promises to be a very tense affair between these two, LGD versus Mineski. A lot on the line, as we've already said, for both teams. And Kyle, how do they approach this? You know, it's such a different position to find themselves in this season, both of them.
I mean, I feel like Mineski really just showing. You know, they had some rough spots. They did good at the beginning of the season, and then they had a real, 6-month period of maybe even not making it to lands, finishing in the bottom. But I think they really proved just how much of a role friendship, sticking together through adversity, and really like powering through, and just coming together in difficult times versus growing apart.
Is this some sort of life lesson that you've maybe learned about, Kyle?
I have no idea. I'm just talking about Mineski.
I wish we could talk about the discussion we had on the bus on the way in this morning. All I'll say is it had something to do with Kyle and Zach and Clegane Bowl inside Dota. That's all I'm going to say about it. You can make it up. You can do fantasy fiction of your own. You can do fan fiction around that. I think you get the picture.
I'm sure my parents wouldn't like to root against us or have us play against each other. But if we make it all the way to the TI finals, I think we're both winners. So if that were to go down, by all means.
No, I think our version of Clegane Bowl had you both playing for a qualifying spot in TI, and one of you didn't make it. I think that was
miserable.
Yeah,
I don't
that was pretty rough. This man, however, is not miserable. This guy was messing around with me in the garages last night after he finished. Rather than focus on the fact that they've won, he's busy writing esports with a capital S on Twitter and showing it to me, the swine. He's just such a bundle of fun. He really is. I said to him, sick tired game last night. He was just like, it was okay.
Yeah.
He's just so blasé about it.
That's the kind of guy Daryl is. He's a professional troll. He likes to keep things fun and light. And I think that's always helpful in a team environment to be able to have at least one person on a team who's able to lift everybody's spirits.
But they looked quite happy when they came out, didn't they? They all seemed quite relaxed and ready to go. I'm surprised there's no nerves in there.
It's because they're helping their coach on his. I figured it all out now. Their coach is on his LGD is on his ACE China Revenge Tour. Ready? So
if only he had E-Home here as well.
71, with a couple former DK guys they coach. They DK and E-Home.
He's done the DK one. He's done the Vici one.
Yeah, they got their first bit of revenge against Burning's former teammates, and then again these guys suffered through some stretches where ACE, the other Chinese teams were against them a little bit. Happened again on E-Home, and now he has the chance to knock out one of the backbone organizations of ACE, LGD, and rival boss Ruru.
Maybe that was why he was doing press-ups just before they came out and then doing star jumps on the stage during the introductions.
I think the vengeance is strong here.
Was that this? When he was walking on the stage, he was like, I'm coming for you, Ruru. I'm coming for you.
Some good beef. We like that. On the other side, LGD, they were said when we came into China a couple of weeks ago, everyone said LGD are the best chance we have of a home victory and a first Chinese major. They've got to the upper bracket final, and they've done it pretty well, right? They haven't looked that threatened through the knockout stages.
I mean, the Liquid series, I would say, was a little scary.
Yeah.
That was just some good Dota all around, but I think they're the Chinese team that's most adapted to this meta right now. They seem to be willing to play aggressive. They aren't relying on their two cores nearly as much as other teams. And I think it's going to be very important against a team like Mineski, who, while they've really crushed a lot of these games, they've won, I think, 3 out of their 4 games with Gyro DK on this main stage. And I just don't know if that's the sort of thing that you can continue to utilize. And also consider that game yesterday, Vici versus Mineski game 3. There's some questionable mistakes by the Vici side, and I don't know if LGD is going to make the same miscues.
Speaking of adaptable, I think LGD has played mostly Dire throughout the upper bracket. I feel like they have most of Dire's wins throughout this entire tournament. So I think that would put them in a pretty unique position. Radiant has an overwhelming win rate advantage, but LGD has played Dire. I think for Liquid Series they played at least 2, if not all 3 games on the Dire. And so they, maybe they found something there. And you look at some of the heroes that they play. These Coddle Beastmasters, not just for the vision, but also very good at abusing and taking advantage of stacks, which is probably the only significant advantage that Dire even has over Radiant. So maybe they found something there, as they've confidently been able to take up the Dire side and win where no one else has.
Hey, is this the only 2 teams that actually has their coach drafting for them?
Vici Jet Thunder?
I don't believe LGD's coach drafts for them. I could be mistaken.
Okay, because I just saw him sat down, and I saw him do it earlier in the previous series as well.
Oh, he did? Oh,
yeah.
I was-
Yeah, Mikasa does as well for VG.
Yeah,
And
357 does do
there's
a
quite a
lot
few.
of he does do a lot of the drafting.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there's what, like 3 or 4
Four,
teams?
I think maybe 4, maybe 5, and then 4 of those are Chinese.
And he's going up against his former master, I believe, because I believe 71 coached him
Ooh.
during
All
the
the way back
357
in-
Eon
Wow.
days.
Yep.
So this is like, do you think they're both at that level of Sith Lord? And it's like, what is this? Is this like young Anakin, or is this like making a baby with Padme?
Is it time to
Anakin?
like overthrow the master type of thing?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty sure the apprenticeship like ended a long time ago. Let's be real. It's been a real long time. I think this is 2 Sith Lords going at it more than anything else. I'm not sure if we can go
Well,
for the
technically,
apprentice.
Is this more of like a
Don't you become the Sith Lord when you graduate and you retire from being a player and become a coach anyway?
You
I
become
think
the
at that
Emperor,
point in
don't you?
time he kind of became a Sith Lord.
I think
interesting?
you become
I
the
mean, there's a
Emperor at
reason
that
why
point.
there are so many Sith in the universe, right? It's not like one guy and then he was like,
How much?
now I die and
There has to be
okay, now
balance in
your
the
guy's gonna
universe.
kill your guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what happens is you just don't know that the other ones are there, or maybe you pretend they don't exist. So that it's just your your apprentice.
And
or whatever.
how far are we trying to take this, guys?
Yeah, this went
Like,
off
have
the
you-
rails.
Well, the point was it's going to be coach
you
versus
reading the
coach
fan
drafting.
fiction?
The
It
point
is.
of this
It
was
is. We were going to talk about the Radiant theory, the Dire theory for LGD. LGD won 6 of their last 8 wins were all on Dire.
Jack, do you think they found like the exhaust port on the Radiant side to
A
just
secret tunnel to the river.
find victory? By total obliteration.
my
thanks
question
to this
is
one weakness.
who snuck the plans to LGD?
I think they just trust their instincts.
At this point, I'm just glad they don't have anyone on their team called
Is
Luke.
their coach like Obi-Wan? No, not Obi-Wan. He's like whoever's telling him to put back on his targeting sensor. You know,
That was Obi-Wan.
Yeah, that was Obi-Wan.
the rest of LGD
Yeah.
is like, nah, dude. We trust ourselves here.
All right, let's head towards the draft between these two. Kyle, expectations?
Oh, look at that. I'm going to go
Ooh.
with Pangolier. I think LGD might break out the Pangolier.
Or he's just kind of like experimenting with it to kind of
yeah,
get a feel
totally
of what the Yule
experimenting.
Scepter is like because they might be facing against a Pangolier, right?
Yeah, that's why he's practicing it. Yeah,
I
definitely.
mean, you might not know exactly the mechanics of the Yule Scepter Pangolier if you haven't played it yourself,
That's
right?
true.
So
He's
maybe he's
learning-
just trying to get a good glimpse into it.
It looked like he was learning what to do when you get perma-stunned by the Pangolier.
you press your button. as fast
Frustratingly
as you
smashing
can.
keys.
Yeah.
BKB, please.
Oh, man. It's been a lot. I think BKB is a really interesting item in this patch. The recent change to make the cooldown the same at every duration has made your pickup timing very important, I feel. And the BKB usage in certain games has really come down to determined who wins. I think there was this one notable fight in the VP Vici game we saw earlier where Ramses got astraled and then spammed his BKB for the lasso. All of a sudden the lasso's down, he's still BKB'd and he's able to reposition and survive. It's very much a game where there's so much save that this window of damage you get to deal. And if you don't kill that guy, he's going to reset, come back in later and punish.
And simultaneously, you don't want to be overly greedy, right, with your BKB timing. You don't want to be saying, like, oh, I'm going to try and extend my BKB choice later into the game because sometimes these teams just get run over too quickly.
Yeah, and LGD with first pick and Dire, so they have definitely their preference. I am not sure. I think Mineski, if I'm not mistaken, was prioritizing Radiant in their games, even over first pick.
Yeah,
and
they
part of
picked, they picked Radiant last 3
Yeah.
games they played.
And it's because they really liked this gyrocopter opener with the support. You can see actually LGD banning Pangolier. So maybe the testing is concluded.
Nope, can't do anything against
you're right,
perma-stun.
guys. This
ban
Yule
it.
Scepter is
Just
OP.
ban it, yeah. Just ban it, please, guys. I've just played against it. I just played with it, and it's absolutely ridiculous.
I like that opening from LGD. I think it's one of FY's best heroes. He is the one playing Bounty, right?
I think it's going to be X-Nova, actually.
Is it? Yeah,
Played
it is.
yesterday.
That's
Yeah.
why I caught myself right away. But FY loved that hero. I remember playing against it a couple of years ago. It was very scary. And I think it's just a really strong method of playing against the heroes Mineski likes to utilize. I even think it would have worked well for Liquid in the previous series because,
Besides, Lord
DP
knows,
Underlord.
Lord knows FY will not accept his hero being picked in the first pool, let alone.
oh yeah.
That said, they have both played it since they've been on the team
He has
together.
played
so,
it. He played as
yeah.
an offlaner
They
when he was
did, yeah.
playing offlane at the time instead of
Oh,
before.
yeah, and they swapped around. But Okay, so Kyle, I want you to talk about this bounty hunter because it used to be the traditional logic was that bounty hunter always failed against these team fight lineups because everyone would just group up. It didn't matter if you had track vision or anything. As long as the enemy team was winning fights and they had better team fight, then the bounty hunter felt kind of useless. Doesn't seem like that anymore.
I think the game has changed a bit where people realize there's other methods of dealing with death ball and team fight lineups where you can split the map, accept skirmishes, and draft enough wave clear to where you don't fear the aggressive like 5-man. Bounty also is one of the few heroes that can, I don't know how to describe it, but it used to be Chen, where you can send back the creeps, right? And all of a sudden the off lane is no longer a risk. So you secure every lane. Bounty Hunter has the ability to pull creeps very easily because you can just invis behind tier 2, tier 3 and just pull. And we've seen many times, even if he dies, there's 2 heroes there. They're using a dust. Is it really worth it? Because he's still getting the pull and there's 2 supports chasing him down. Maybe you don't even kill him. When you play against a Death Prophet, you find him, you kill him. And it's also the gold advantage. When you end up taking that deciding team fight, you're getting a massive advantage. Plus, courier kills are worth so much gold. Why fight? Lose 1 support, kill the courier. It's a favorable trade.
So would you say that compared to previous metas, when it comes down to the actual team fight itself, vision is more important than it used to be? And
sure.
that's what Bounty Hunter does best for you in a team fight.
I also think it's just, as teams have improved, there are certain heroes, I'll use Underlord as an example, where it's just they provide more tools. And vision, and specifically the ability for Bounty to place wards undetected, is a massive advantage because all of a sudden the enemy team has no ability to predict where your wards are going to be. And you more information equals better Dota, especially when you get to these upper bracket finals, where obviously these are the 2 best teams in the tournament thus far. They're going to be very strong if they have more information than their enemies.
Yeah, you get down those deep wards, again, like really hard to deward or anticipate for the other team. It's a natural smoke breaker, which is very annoying as well. A lot of these lineups that want a 5-man or get together, you see like 4 or 5 people smoke together, look for a pick-off. This hero naturally gets in the way. And once you see someone or they break the smoke, you have to kill them, but it doesn't feel good to do that either. And then finally, the other component besides vision in team fights is speed as well. Like heroes have been constantly getting faster over these few patches. Now you're providing a speed boost to your whole team in the team fights as well.
It's because the agility heroes, of course, with their attribute bonus, get move speed. And because it's a percent-based move speed increase on track, it scales better. And now people are running in hasted, whereas maybe they had 40 or 50 less move speed previously. And in addition, Bounty is one of the few support heroes that can be played as both a 4 and a 5, and it has item versatility. Specifically, you can rush something like a Spirit Vessel or a Solar Crest, give your team what it might be missing, and really just the Spirit Vessel. It's just the perfect item for the hero, and it makes those track kills even more valuable because now you have like a Dagon's worth of damage just in your pocket that can also heal a quarter full. And Monkey King Clock Band, Venge Tusk from LGD. Interesting choices.
Monkey King Band. That almost suggests, is there a PL here? Or
I think it's because they have the Underlord, right? The OD matchup against the Underlord, we've seen in the side lane a couple times, and Underlord actually does fine in the first 3 levels, actually does really well.
I love the Oracle
But
pick.
Monkey King destroys you.
Yeah. Oracle has excellent synergy with DP. You obviously just ult him, save him. DP heals to full thanks to the increase when you use your drains while Oracle ulted. It's also a purge for track, which can be very important. However, I do think that OD, if you're not offensively disarming him, Shrek's this hero because you don't really care if it makes it so that the Oracle ult needs to be able to turn around because otherwise you're just going to keep this hero alive for a few extra seconds and OD is going to get another 30 intelligence for free. And it's very scary if you let that happen. So Mineski needs, I think, more power. They need to wash over LGD. They can't be in a position where they'd ever lose a team fight or be in a. It's just hard. I don't know. It's an interesting pick, but I don't know if I believe in this hero.
You drop that magic immunity and Underlord. Normally, it's fine, whatever. He doesn't need to be right clicking anyway. But then the OD just starts to sap more and more into him.
Because OD Orb is of course pure damage.
And they've got the vision
Redditors watching
game.
at home.
So if they have a strong initiator, they will usually be able to know where this Oracle is thanks to the Bounty Hunter.
What do you think they're going to pick, Jack?
Let's see. Beast is gone.
LG's, I think, been last picking. They opened with 3 cores yesterday.
Yep.
Tiny Terrorblade Omni Knight. Obviously, TB and Omni are banned wisely, I think, from Mineski. But this might be a game where maybe you look to take a support, like a Witch Doctor. or Disruptor. I was going to say. It's one or the other, but you figure you got to guess one and take a chance. Yeah. First Earth Spirit I've seen Mineski play on the main stage. Like that choice here.
Really powerful with the Death Prophet, but you don't know exactly what you're going to match up mid here just yet because they could run the OD side lane.
It's also really strong against Disruptor, I feel. His weakness is when he has to defensively glimpse or he gets jumped. And we've seen a lot of games where the team with Disruptor, even the one previously, where you have all these heroes going in, and then it's so easy for him to just static storm follow up. I think that killed Miracle like 3 or 4 times at least.
Same goes
Always
with
gets the extra kill. They chased him down once after that Roche fight because of it, and now you have a Gyrocopter to further continue to run in. Another great hero up against the Oracle because he has such a hard time staying in position against Fly.
My Huskar senses are tingling again from Mineski. There's the OD,
yeah,
there's an Oracle this time.
Yeah.
I could see it. I actually think Huskar could be excellent here.
Isn't the OD a problem for you, though?
Definitely, but you buy like some BKB.
But
it's
you
really
love gyrocopters. Gyrocopters are hilarious because they're just like, magic damage. And you're like, I don't care.
Yeah. It's just because you have the Oracle, and I think also just because Halberd, I think, is very underpurchased right now, especially with all these ODs and gyrocopters in the game. It's a 5-second disarm that persists through BKB activations, and it's just so good in the meta right now. But it seems, and it's also very cost efficient. There's no recipe cost, very easy build up. But
yeah, if you see that kind of like Crest Halberd build up, it's already like naturally great against the OD.
Yep.
Because of the Oracle, I'm not sure if you want a strong initiator here for LGD. Any of those Beastmasters, Bat Riders kind of heroes, they can potentially just lose a lot of their power against the Oracle.
Yep.
So I would actually maybe look towards more of the sustain option of trying to match the Underlord.
Yep. I think a Brew, like they just banned, could have been strong. You don't want a, as you said, pure initiator. You want something that allows the fights to be extended because LGD, they want to use a couple of glimpses. They want to have OD stacking up a lot of intelligence, a bunch of tracks. If you look at Mineski's lineup, they're fighting around this Oracle ulti and the Magnetize initiation. Once those spells go down, it's a lot easier for LGD to turn. So I think they want some hero that provides this extra strength.
You think Abaddon is a good choice here?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Not a fan into the Oracle is the thing. It's very difficult to play Abaddon into Oracle in the laning phase, and it's possible, but I feel like they might go in a different direction.
Turn to pick.
No Huskar ban.
Radiant team pick.
Still a possibility.
Okay.
And they do go the Abaddon.
I mean, it works. It's solid synergy with the OD and the Gyrocopter. We've seen Gyro Abaddon win a bunch of games for Mineski, but they obviously are ready.
There it
It's a
comes.
Huskar.
Ooh, my man.
Go Jack.
Jackical. Or a Jack. Whatever you might call him.
He's been talking about
Love it.
Huskar for like 3 days. He's
I've heard
ready
him
for
say
this one.
I've heard him say it twice. But this one looked very good indeed.
Yep.
And that's exactly what we get. We do
But the
get
question
a
is,
Huskar
Jack,
in game 1.
Do you think it's actually a winning pick here?
I think they have a really scary death ball, especially with the Death Prophet. I'm not sure if LGD comes online soon enough to really contest that. I think the supports just end up being useless against his death ball. I think you need a lot of farm on the OD, so he has to have a good start. I'm going with Mineski in game 1.
All right. A believer in the Huskar. Cap.
I'm going to go for LGD here simply because of the fact that they have because they've got what, OD, Gyrocopter, and then the last pick of Abaddon. I'm going to believe in maybe here, and that he's going to create and do enough in the early game to draw this game out for LGD.
Okay.
Man, this is more difficult than usual. I just have to disagree with Winter, but I'm going to go with Mineski because I think that they're on point. LGD seems to be a much better game 2 and 3 team than a game 1, and I think Mineski, they were ready for this. They were immediately picking the Huskar. They got confidence. They got this game.
All right. 2 for Mineski, 1 for LGD. Our upper bracket final is about to begin. Let's head to the arena.
Thank you very much, Red Eye. Yes, LGD versus Mineski in the upper bracket final with myself, OD Pixel, and Fogged. And the question was always going to be asked when that Oracle was picked up, will they do the Huskar? And there is, Fogged. What do we reckon?
Well, I'll tell you what the crowd reckons. It's absolutely packed in here, and they were all just like, oh, you hear the looming...
There was a bit of a moan.
The looming moan comes out.
Because they knew. Everyone here knew that there was always going to be the chance, and it seems like this is a situation where you sort of have to ask yourself, did LGD know as well themselves, and they sort of just let it happen? Do they have a plan for the Huskar lineup?
I think they're looking to just draw the game out. Because I think you look at Mineski's draft, and they want to end this game pretty early on. They want to just get the early Roshan, try to claim the buildings, or claim the Raxes within that like 30-minute mark and end the game before LGD actually comes online. And we're going to be able to see if they do so. They saw that first pick bounty and they materialized a draft that is all about just grouping up and going. So they have to make sure they don't get picked off too much out of position by this bounty.
And we'll see what sort of lanes are going to come out from the side of LGD at the moment. Chalice is up towards the top. LGD will play the aggressive down bottom.
And look at this, they're putting the Huskar mid too versus OD matchup. Haven't seen too much actually, if ever. Not in a long time.
See how Mushi can pull it off at the moment. See where Ninja Boogie decides to put his efforts towards. Because of LGD making this move, and we're having the Abaddon up towards the top. There's sort of less of a worry for Chalice. You know, we were talking about ourselves how that Oracle can cause issues for the Abaddon.
I'm actually going to check something really quick. I haven't really seen Ninja Boogie play the Oracle either, so I'm going to glance a little bit because we don't see this hero too often. Chalice taking a heavy beating while trying to pull that creep wave.
They're giving it quite some minutes. He's going to have the roll again in a second. Chalice does have another shield available, so it may not be a chance for Jabs to make a play.
Has to make sure he doesn't get too much tower aggro. Okay. Oh,
Gets
God.
a couple of hits there.
So 6 months ago, they played Oracle for the last time.
See how they can pull up mid lane. FY. And he's going to come forward, help out Somnus just a little bit. The Thunderstrike down onto Mushi. He right clicks, but Jabs is also there in the tree line, ready to pounce if Mushi does get gone upon.
I've seen this time and time again lately from these disruptors. They just walk mid, throw like 3 Thunderstrikes and walk away and pull up clarity. And just that harassment usually secures the lane for the mid laner that they have. And they won't even get the D-ward instantly. So Somnus will have that extra regen to go off of. And Mushi going to be under a good amount of pressure here.
He's getting glimpsed back here. Jabs rolls in with the backup for Mushi, trying to get Mushi out of there. Fairy Fire's pop. Somnus trying to get it touched. It's enough. Somnus claims first blood from the mid lane with the help of FY. The glimpse setup's too much for Jabs to sort of help out as he comes forward with the roll. It's just not enough.
Yeah, this pure damage is always going to be an issue for the Huskar.
Bottom lane Moon. He's going to get chased down a bit here. He's got the Siphon. He left to live here as they won't dive in too aggressively, LGD.
FY's movements are going to be very crucial for this mid lane.
So yes, at the moment between two mid laners, actually pretty even. Mushi, 6 for 3 against that 6 for 0. As both supports causing some issues. Bottom lane, Boogie chased down here. He has got that magical immunity, but still the right clicks come through. Not enough. He will be able to keep himself alive.
They're all about that pressure. They're sacrificing last hits to try to just get kills in this early game.
The lane with the most farming, of course, is up top. Chalice and Ice both getting a fair amount out of this. Ice quite a bit more. 16% against the Tempter in mid lane. They're trying for this. Jabs does come in with the boulder smash, trying to save Mushi. It's not enough. And this time Jabs as well. Maybe in trouble. They want to get both of these kills here, and they are going to be able to do so. Or maybe not. Fairy Fire. Is it enough to save him? It's not. Somnus towering up underneath the tower, dives in. LGD claim 2 this time for the mid lane of Mineski.
All about this OD. They know that how important this hero is going to be in the game to deal with this Huskar. If maybe he's able to snowball, that Arcane Orb can definitely shut down a lot of Mineski's aggression. And top lane you were mentioning, it's an Underlord versus a melee. We've seen this hero, what he does to other melees.
Yeah. And we've seen generally what Ice does when he's allowed to play the Underlord.
Yeah.
He doesn't miss the creeps at all. 22 for 12. Doesn't matter what you put in lane in terms of 1v1, Ice. You can sort of see in the draft, he knows the matchups that he's not going to want to play, such as the Monkey King taken out. Put him against an Abaddon, he's going to farm for days on this hero, and we are certainly seeing that.
Yeah.
He's comfortably at the top.
He's going to put a lot of pressure onto Chalice. I'm actually very concerned for this Abaddon.
And look at the level difference as well, because of the denies. Level 5 Ice against the level 3 Chalice Abaddon. Bottom lane Moon getting dove upon. LGD trying to make a play here. Siphon comes through for Moon, keeping him alive for now. Thunderstrike does bring him down pretty low, but he'll be able to keep his distance this time. LGD not quite able to finish off the kill onto Moon.
Yeah, LGD has, they have the 3 kills in the early start, but the last hits are heavily favoring Mineski at the moment.
Jabs. With the boulder smash on Arme, FY with the kinetic field holding the back, but it's not enough to save the Jaro. Arme will fall. Have enough burst from range. Get themselves their first kill on the board here, Mineski. It is a good one, taking the Jaro off the map, as we saw already. He is suffering in the CS. He's not I guess it's pretty unfair as it seems to compare anyone to Ice to the CS, as he is just so far ahead of anyone else in this game.
He's got to have such an early dominator.
Yeah.
And Mushi as well in that mid lane, 19-10 to the 15-1 of the OD. They've had to expend a lot to be able to go for those dives and for those kills, and Mushi just able to last hit.
And Ice getting free farm it's a big boost to sort of the overall way that Mineski are going to want to play. If he can get these quick items, as you say, the Helm, and then sort of the further aura builds, all these things are going to enable Mushi to just really go off in the fights when they do start to group up.
And also just to get that early Rosh. If this Underlord is this big, the Rosh is going to die so quick in bottom lane again. The Glimpse comes out, Moon.
They've got the homing missile. Have they got enough to finish him? Siphon comes out, roll forward. There's the save from Ninja Boogie. They'll be able to keep that man alive. FY trying to down and finish up the kiss. Will get it. LGD do manage to find Moon. Does come at the cost of X-Nova's life on the bounty, but they'll take it. That's Moon out of the lane for a few seconds. Couldn't quite save in there, Boogie. Bought a little bit of time for him, but still. FY persisted for the kill, and he got it.
You see Moon's building all these like tanky items, even like extra circlet, belt of giant strength, belt of strength. Anything to survive that burst so that Ninja Boogie can bail him out. And they're actually just switching lanes now. It's too much of a concern. They're losing mid, they're losing top. Bottom's going pretty evenly, but losing 2 lanes at the start is not something you want when you're playing versus this heavy 5-man snowball lineup.
Board's eyes, the 2 of them, but level 7 Underlord. Not much you can do against him as these two.
LGD's got nobody mid. It's just a Huskar by himself.
Green for Mushi.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to see if LGD can make something big happen on the side lanes. As you say, it's sort of the trade-off of leaving that abandoned mid lane, but in fact, it's going to be Somnus getting rolled on. He'll put the Fairy Fire. Letting Field just hold back Jabs and Ice, and it's the Ice says, we're out of it, guys. Jabs trying to get himself in range of the Rift Home. Is he going to get out in time? He will. They will be able to get themselves away. So this is LGD, as you say, 4 heroes up top. They've actually left Arme on his own down bottom for that, and nobody wants to go mid against Mushi.
I mean, if this Huskar gets early armlet timing,
they're just letting him farm.
That's when they're able to just go for that Rosh, go for those early tower pressure. LGD.
And Mushi, he's making the most of it. 33 and 24.
Yep.
He's hitting every single creep.
And now bottom, Ame has to get he gets pushed away too. We didn't say it.
As soon as we say, he misses. He's got most.
They actually don't have anybody mid. I guess they're just going to put X-Nova there to just sap the experience, but I'm concerned already for LGD with this early game.
En route for that quick armlet timing, as you said.
Because even top, like you mentioned, they're trying to get that matchup so that they can actually threaten Ice because of how well he's farming, but they almost just got turned on.
See what maybe sort of the plan in terms of the long term here from LGD.
I mean, Chalice, when you have your Abaddon who is in your safe lane and he's jungling now at the moment, there's a big problem going on.
I mean, he's top net worth for the team.
Yeah.
See what sort of moves LGD can make. Nova into the jungle. Mushi. Trying to regen, not too much use for him at the moment. Will deny it, make sure that no one can
They're
get
bringing
bottom.
4 heroes down bottom to try to slow down Moon, but he's got Exorcism and he's got backup.
Yeah, Jabs and Ninja Boogie ready for any sort of play that LGD make. In fact, they want to be the ones to make the play first. Straight away, onto X-Nova, looking to burst him down. They've got him with the nuke from the Purifying Flame, Ninja Boogie.
I mean, they really just don't have the damage to dish through this Oracle. The Fate's Edict counteracts majority that's coming out in this early game from the Gyro.
They can certainly do the best to make Moon pretty invincible in these pushes with the Exorcism. Smoke up from LGD. They've got to find some sort of lane to make something happen. But look at this, the scan. Absolutely perfect from Mineski. They know that this movement's coming in.
The Glimpse is still on cooldown. Still 20 seconds for Glimpse.
He's still hanging around a little close, though. In fact, maybe he wants to fight. There's a TP coming in, but it may be a fight too hard for him to take. They're trying to save him. Ninja Boogie urging it off, pops the Fairy Fire Mushi, but he will fall. LGD get the kill.
They bring 5.
I guess maybe Mushi did not expect the full team there, but as I said, the scan hit, they knew that that movement was coming through, but Mushi, he sort of seemed like he said we could take this, but now Mushi loses his life, and Ninja Boogie too gets dragged back by the Glimpse. LGD,
I think
the
this
movement that was red, it pays off.
I think they have to make these 5-man moves to punish right now because they're losing their lane so heavily. And you know what I think would happen there with Mushi? I think he thought that Glimpse was up. The way that he played that, he saw the disruptor, and he's just like, I'm going to get glimpsed back. I have to turn, right? That's what it looked like. That was the best. I think that's what he was expecting, and now
they're back. They want to try and fight this up. They look towards Arme. Sanders comes in. Jabs gets the 3-man boulder smash, holding the back for now, and they've managed to find Arme. They look towards Chalice. Chalice does get the tower, but he'll be chased down.
He doesn't have ult skilled. He's got 0-3-3 build.
Ice. See if we can find him. It doesn't even need to. Crypt Swarm from the low ground.
X-Nova snipes Curry in the back.
Not going to make him pay for this, though, by the looks of it. They've got the hold from Boogie. In with the smash. X-Nova will get taken down as well. So LGD, they claim a tower. They claim, you say, the courier, but it does cost them 3 of their lives.
Yeah, Jabs with that beautiful boulder smash hitting 3. How are the levels doing now? Supports, all the supports are actually level 4 at the moment. But look at this depth differential in levels. Look at that Huskar, look at that Underlord. They're 3 levels ahead of their opposing. And I believe the Armlet's about to be done for the Huskar. So Armlet and the level 4 Berserker Blood will come out at the same time.
It stands 6 for 6. Much even in net worth overall between the two teams.
Ninja Boogie should get picked off here.
He's got the magic immunity, the right clicks, and the homing missile should be enough though. Arme with a final touch.
This is, I mean, LGD, they need to get these little kills. Mineski, they can't give up too many because it gets to a point, if there is the track online, that's where LGD is really going to start to recover in the gold. They have to be sure to just kind of stay grouped up. That's the nature of their lineup. That's why they picked all this versus this Bounty Hunter. The Armlet being delivered. Mushi's got it now. So Roche will be the next thing on the menu soon for Mineski. And it's going to be very hard for LGD to contest. However, they do have Disruptor ulti in a second.
They've got some good ults around the pit.
Yeah.
But as we've seen, if Ninja Boogie can keep his cause alive, Boone gets the chance. Stay up with the Exorcism flying around.
Yeah.
It's a very hard team fight for LGD to take at the moment.
Yeah,
Top
I mean,
lane.
like Oracle Huskar is one thing. It's extremely potent. But Oracle DP is also very similar. We've seen a lot of these, not a lot, but in the past we've seen a lot of the Blink Dagger builds because you actually just can't die as that Death Prophet with Blink.
Top lane Arme, pretty far out here. Jabs looking to make the most of it. Rolls forward as the boulder smash. They put the Exorcism moons in with the damage in the back of the Boogie. They'll instantly rift as well.
Mushi's getting pressured. Yeah. But bottom lane, they're looking for Somnus.
Mushi has got a sentry to work with. It actually gets the kill. Chalice and FY, they're trying to finish him. Mushi, can he Armlet toggle his way out of this one? Somnus is coming in as well. We'll let that pure damage drop for the Armlet toggles. Can Mushi do this? In comes Moon. Mushi, he's actually surviving.
Oh my God.
He gets out of this, and now Moon, he's looking to turn. Forces Somnus away as he chases him down with the Siphon. Somnus will be fortunate enough to grab that haste rune and get out of there, but Mushi surviving as 3 heroes try to beat down upon him.
There was a miscommunication in there coming in from Mineski. They actually Dark Rifted bottom on top of Somnus, and then Jab started his TP to mid, and he was standing right in front of the OD and didn't cancel the TP with the Boulder Smash. But Mushi does survive, and then now we'll be able to turn this into a push toward mid. So all in all, it's okay for Mineski, and they're keeping this lead.
We're starting to see the beginnings of this Huskar being quite an issue.
Yeah. Getting all these auras. I think the hood is about to be finished for Ice.
Now starting to build up that lead. 3K lead. Now builds up for Mineski, and of course, yeah, so as you mentioned, Ice with his item progression, and no surprise really to see Ice at the top of the net worth on his Underlord.
Yep.
We've got quite used to seeing him out in these games.
Yeah, I mean, he got this extremely favorable lane. You see the deep wards coming out from LGD. They're trying to read the movements from Mineski that they're pushing out into the lanes. But you see Ame queued up the Aghanims. So you know they want to take it to those later stages of the game.
Will they get the chance to do so, though? That is the big question.
They can look for these pickoffs. They do have track now available too. So getting those 5-man track kills will slowly start to catch them back up. Look at Mineski's positioning, though. They are aware. The circle has been drawn on top of LGD by Ninja Boogie.
You know what's up. Showing on the map, they know that there's some spooky business coming out from LGD.
Yep.
Arme will now show himself mid.
Second circle drawn by Ninja Boogie. Still expecting to be down there. Ice will now continue to push top to try to force reaction. And this gives them more information, and this confirms that they are down bottom. They even see the courier now going back toward the base with those wards they have at the shrine. So they were now 100% aware that LGD's there. So now we see the Dominator creeps. They sit in the Roche pit.
Need some Ghost Lady on Ghost Lady action here. As Moon force that Ghost away out of the pit.
And it's
the rest
time.
of his team step in.
So Mushi, he's got the belt of strength, so he's probably going to build that directly into a halberd. Kyle was mentioning how halberd versus OD and gyrocopter, incredibly good item. That disarm versus ranged heroes is absolutely ridiculous.
They're getting this one for free. LGD not turning up to the pit at all. Mushi with an Aegis.
This is where they solidify their map control at this Aegis. Probably not wanting to threaten. I mean, they can threaten some tier 2s, but high ground is something that's still going to take a little bit more time. But Mineski in a very comfortable spot. 8-7 with that 4K lead, 6K experience lead as well.
Really starting to build up. Mineski able to get that execution off in this early stages of the game that they need to with this lineup.
They see that Mushi's top right now on this Huskar.
They look towards Ice. Somnus starting to get some of that in, built up. Good few punches onto Ice, but Ice in no danger of actually dying.
Ame's not farming during all this. He's actually just chilling in the tree line for the last like 30 or 40 seconds.
Ushi. Sort of hunting, I wonder.
That looked like he kind of knew, right? The way he
He
walks.
sort of hovered around towards the trees, but he won't check fully behind them, and Ame will be able to TP himself towards mid. And
The word spots
continue to gain the
Mineski's
farm.
movement.
Question is, do LGD want to try and fight this, or is this just information that they need to get out of there? Moon.
X-Nova breaks that smoke.
Gabs, he's actually rolling in. He wants to kick things off, gets the bottom smash out onto Chalice. Chalice will turn. Here's the backup with the silence. In fact, coming in from the side. LGD have to back away. Borrowed time is popped. The Moon keeping hold of him. He's going to get glimpsed back by FY. Chalice getting bursted, so the control between Ice and Bugin. The amount of hold and magical damage coming out is too much.
You see the way that LGD's playing, though. They're like, we cannot take a 5v5 fight. Just like the panels mentioned, this Death Ball lineup, especially when they've got the Aegis.
And the push with the remainder. This little bit of an exorcism will get them a second tower on this bottom lane. Mineski.
They're threatening, actually, with this Aegis. They don't have Exorcism, though. But they know that Ame's going for Aghanim, so he doesn't have this time.
Look at this. Every time, Jabs just goes in straight away, kicks off the fight, and it works out. Mineski there to back him up, get a quick kill.
Can LGD actually push them off of this?
It's going to be hard. Look
The
at
gyro's
Mushi.
not ready. It's all about just the insta-stack.
He's just standing his ground on the Huskar, punching into the tower. The fortification will come through from LGD now. Somnus trying to go for it, but he gets silenced. Mushi jumps in, forced to the side, will save Somnus for now. Static Storm holding Mushi in place, but he's got that Aegis, and in fact, he's got the False Promise as well. Astral holds back the False Promised Huskar. The Chalice on the front lines trying to punch into Mushi. Can he finish him off? Mushi, though, that False Promise heal.
Oh
Pretty
my
much bringing him back
God.
to full, and Mushi's going in. The Boulder Smash again. The control here from the Earth Spirit. Jabs absolutely doing it, setting up.
They're gonna
for
get
this
the Rex
chaos
here.
to go. In favor of Mineski as they've found the tier 3 tower. They'll take the melee Rex as well. LGD can do nothing to stop this.
They couldn't even kill the Aegis.
And now Ame has to be careful. Keeps his distance, but in Mineski,
Oh my.
nothing of any sort of value
And
lost on
they're
their
not going to
half.
stop. They're not going back to base. They're going top. They just want to keep going for the next Rax. LGD, they're not online yet at all. They can't take this fight. Gyro, no Aghanims. Maybe can't actually get enough int. He can't actually do enough damage to this Huskar.
Here we go. How on earth to LGD to put a stop to this sort of momentum? It is exactly how Mineski planned with this lineup. 10k lead, 18 minutes in, a Rax up. This is plan A going to full success so far for Mineski. Can LGD put a stop to it? They're coming out with a smoke.
Mineski's aware of this, though.
Can they really attempt to fight this 5-man and Mineski at this stage? Full neck on Ice as well now.
I mean, Mineski knows their game plan. They're like, okay, there's Bounty Hunter, Disruptor. They're looking to try to get pickoffs when we split. So let's just not split. Stick together. Ame has actually switch the build now so that he can try to take fights, because they know, I believe they're realizing this game is going to probably be over in the next 5-10 minutes if they don't actually just take these head-on fights. So switches to the BKB for the gyrocopter. And a lot of items now being delivered. The full mech, the halberd as well.
Might see the courier go down, depending on how careful Mineski are with it. Xnova is in position. And the courier indeed doing the rounds of the team. And looks like they're on it with the micro. They're taking it to the sidelines. They're keeping that courier safe. Xnova, he's not going to be able to snipe it today. Mineski.
This game is actually so hard now for LGD. They have to just split push the lanes. Don't let Mineski hit their base pretty much. And now the Blink Dagger that we had mentioned for that Death Prophet. When you have Oracle on your team, this is the build. Because you can always just disengage when you are false promised. And a Blink 2 for jabs now. So Mineski grouping up. They're ready to close this one.
Jabs as well, as I say, some of his initiations have been perfect. Every fight has been sort of kicked off by a long-range boulder smash, or
is Xnova
Jabs just rolling in on the front.
He almost got courier. Very close. Tier 2 time. And Ame still does not have the BKB. Their damage is still pretty much fully dependent on Somnus.
What ways do they sort of have to keep him alive? I mean, they've got the backup of an Abaddon, but the shield.
It's just about the buildings is the problem. Moon.
Sure, they can just ignore the heroes at this stage, Mineski, as they can just look for structures. Straight in.
Jabs kicks him out.
He does. Oh, he gets that OD out of the base, and now he's separated. He's got to take the long walk round. This is going to give a good time for Mineski to get away with his damage onto the tier 3 tower. Now he's back. Somnus, can he get stuck in at all? With these rocks being dropped, it's a very scary place for Somnus to step forward upon. As the tier 3 tower fall, he gets the deny. Something, but still,
they're still going to be a little careful. They're at least going to rely on the exorcism for those big pushes.
Nova does manage to hold back the push momentarily as he holds back the creep wave.
Yeah, double wave.
LGD trying to do everything possible to stay in this game, but 12k lead still prevails in favor of Mineski.
They got deep base wards as well during that, and now Mushi has queued up his BKB. He's very, very close to it, and that's going to pretty much stop any chance of LGD to kill him with that OD.
BKB, Halberd, the backup of having this Ninja Boogie Oracle on your team.
And a 12k gold lead, you know. Roche, we'll find out in about 55 seconds. Mineski, though, they're looking to continue this stride.
LGD just carefully trying to tread outside of their base. But each time, having to back away at the worry of Mineski being able to get a jump onto them. Full Greaves for Ice to add to the push as well. Nova.
Oh, spotted.
He's been
the
spotted.
gem.
They've got the gem. They've got the bounty.
Time to smoke. Time to catch another hero and go high ground. They're just not splitting up. They're not giving LGD any breathing room.
It really has been flawless execution out of the laning stage from Mineski with this Huskar draft. They came to this series with a plan for game 1, and they have managed to perform it immaculately so far.
FY.
He's going to get caught out. Straight in jabs. Sees an opportunity, jumps in. No disruptor for 30 seconds.
And Exorcism's back.
And it's out. Mineski looking for this second set of racks. LGD, they could do nothing to stop that first one going down, and they are not going to be able to do anything. Once again, in terms of stopping the second racks, and Mineski
going to go for Megas.
They know they can get away with this. They have already twice before. As they head up to the top lane, Silence comes out from Moon. Is holding back LGD, making it that much harder for them to do anything about stopping this. They have got
no creeps in the base.
The back door kicking in. Mineski will temporarily put a halt to it and come back.
Roche respawns very quickly. So Mineski could just make their way right there, and that could be where they can end the game. LGD still unable to get any fights, any chances versus this Huskar.
Now, let's see if they can get any sort of catch. Chalice leading the way. They have the vision onto Ice. Dragging back into the pit. They really want to go on this Underlord, though.
Pretty tanky. He's just going to be very careful.
Yeah, I've got something coming out, but the silence is there, limiting the damage output of Somnus. And he just rifts himself to the side, of course. He still wants to stick around for the fight. Arme trying to go in onto this Underlord, but he hasn't got the damage or control to do so. Somnus moving in, but Mushi, he's ready to fight. Jumps forward. Somnus able to force himself over into the pit and back to safety. Chalice has the borrowed time. Mineski still ready to fight, though. They've got the Siphon onto Nova, Boulder Smash. En route, they have the root, holding back Arme. Arme now with his own B cable. Looks to commit towards Ice, but he just doesn't do the damage at this stage. The Jara jabs, rolls down, looks towards the Chalice. He's got the two-man Boulder Smash coming through, holding down Somnus as well. Static Storm's there. Will hold back Mineski, but they've lost Chalice on LGD.
The Static Storm hits 4, but does little to nothing versus Mineski.
And they're back up to full, pretty much the entire team. And with a lot being blown there by LGD in that attempt to force Mineski away from the pit, Mineski know it's now even safer for them to go back in without any worry of LGD being able to do anything to stop this.
Full BKB now for Moon 2. Exorcism up in 12. LGD might just be thinking about the next game. It is impossible to actually deal the damage, to go through this Underlord, to go through this Oracle Huskar. 17,000 gold lead now.
And time to head back top. Look to claim the Mega Creeps from LGD.
They're buying any type of small damage items they can on LGD. A Yasha picked up by Ame. Another Blade of Alacrity too. He's just like, I just need anything, any little thing to try to deal with Mineski.
Let's see what the chances are here. Moon, Exorcism out and ready to go. Get a bit of in, racked up here onto Somnus, but straight away the silence holding him down. Through, but the Aphotic Shield will come through from Chalice. Fine for now, but still. Mineski, full health. Reeves a pop by Ice.
That's the glyph.
Waits it out, and then they'll get back in. Ready to go. Mushi getting focused, but the same time jabs. Finds the angle. Two-man Boulder Smash comes through. Immediate buyback here from Somnus. Chalice has the borrowed time. Mushi trying to focus down Arme. Arme will be able to get himself away with the BKB. But they've taken the tier 3 tower. Ice. Playing around with the opportunity to rift out. Does he want to take them away? He doesn't. He wants them to stick around because they're getting back in. They look towards Somnus. Somnus, he's trying to keep the distance. Chalice has the Aphotic Shield. Will keep Somnus alive. Mushi getting pretty low here, but he is a Huskar, and he has still got that Aegis. False Promise as well will be there. The space being created for Mineski to focus these racks, take the melee racks away from LGD, now looking towards the range. Mushi,
full health,
just jumping in, ready to party. The silences coming through, rendering LGD's lineup useless against this onslaught. That's Somnus down for a full minute. GG is called. Mineski in 27 minutes. Doing it here in style, well, Huskar style.
Huskar style.
Depends if you're a fan of that sort of stuff, but they certainly do it with the Huskar draft. It works perfectly. This lineup, this way of tackling LGD just didn't have an answer.
No, they didn't. They needed Mineski to start splitting up and them to start getting those track kills with Glimpse, but Mineski never gave him the opportunity for that. And their draft, it just takes a long time to get online, especially versus a Huskar Oracle. When they're just trying to end the game before 30 minutes, they get it at 27. Pretty much flawless game by Mineski.
Absolutely, and this was the thing, you know, LGD, we sort of wondered, did they expect it and they thought that they could take it? Because the Oracle was third pick. There was definitely chance for that Huskar to be taken away from Mineski, but it didn't happen. They did it. The question is, of course, now is can Mineski indeed do it without the Huskar? Because let's be honest, we're not going to see Huskar again this series, right?
Especially not if there's an Oracle. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen.
Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Mineski taking a game one with quite some force against LGD.
They move just one single game away from moving to 4th in the Dota Professional Circuit at a very critical time of the season. Just 6 tournaments remain after this one. Mineski on the verge. Can they convert is a question, of course, we'll answer in game number 2. But first, let's wrap up game number 1. It was a fairly straightforward victory, Kyle. Winter made a point this morning, and he said it's funny, the Chinese teams, if they have one flaw, it's that they don't play Huskar, they don't play Brood, and they never remember about them. We've just seen 2 games in a row against Chinese teams, and both of those have come out.
Yep, I think that's part of the reason you've seen the West as the only region to actually win majors to this point. This is because they're not afraid to pick these weird 10th picks that just sort of change the game of Dota that you're playing. And we were talking about, you know, Cap asked me, why don't people just counter Bounty Hunter with 5 banning? And usually it's because, you know, there's methods of stalling the game. You can't really get to a point where you're able to do so. But Oracle Huskar with an Aegis, yeah. Bounty Disruptor, more worthless than winner's predictions.
And honestly, the Underlord is a great combination, right? Because you've already got the Death Prophet, which is kind of your 5 banning and tower taking mechanism. But the Underlord both gives you team fight power and it addresses split push really well. So we saw from the laning phase start, Ice was by himself also, pressuring a lot of towers.
Jack, you called the Huskar.
Yeah, it's it's obviously great synergy in this lineup. It's they like it against the OD. It's good against the OD. It gives them, with the first 2 picks that they have, the DP and the Underlord, you can go either way, right? Because you have lane flexibility, like you said. The Underlord helps you late game. It gives you mobility, but you can deathball with him too. Like this game, given how LGD's lineup went, as soon as you get that pipe up, basically, or you get that front line start, even the Helm the Dominator that gives you all that regen, there's no way you're killing this lineup. And LGD really exposed themselves to that. And I think with the Gyrocopter as well, like Ame initially was considering going that Aghanim Scepter. It just takes way too much time to get to items to fight them if you're LGD. So just a brilliant draft from Mineski.
I think overall it felt like a draft win for Mineski, but I think we all had criticisms for LGD and their item choices and how they tried to deal with Mineski's pressure. Kyle, I know you had a lot to say about Ame's build.
I mean, it was more Jack, I think, that we
That's
go to
true,
for
Jack.
Ame. I was just thinking maybe needed a BKB. I feel like if you get a Hurricane Pike, until you have BKB, you're not able to actually use your orb. You saw him initiate it on countless times with the silence, with the jabs roll, stun, silent. Like, you can't actually play the game and do damage. And
so 4-staff BKB for him instead of the complete Hurricane Pike.
I don't even know if that helps in truth, but I'd say their story of the game is really just Ice, who, in my eyes, continues to show that he might just be the best player in the tournament right now. He crushed Chalice, like obliterated him.
Yep.
And he wasn't in the 1v1 tournament, but I think he won one of those a couple of years back when he was still playing for DK.
I think you're right, yeah.
He dumpstered him.
Yeah, he is having an absolute ball in this tournament right now, Jack, and he gets our MVP vote in this particular matchup as well. What can LG do to come back in this game?
What can Ame do?
SSI seems to always get a little bit of extra mileage out of his heroes. Like he was playing Sand King the other day, and it's like, you know, it always feels like it takes just a little bit more to kill him or bring him down.
Yep.
He's playing Tide, and Underlord, suddenly these towers are just disappearing, and he's owning
Winning
his
lanes,
lane.
he shouldn't win against heroes that shouldn't lose their lane. He's done that as well during the tournament.
Yeah, he kind of like upends like the matchup that you put him in, right? And in this case, I mean, not going to be the flashiest game with the Underlord, but obviously that's a big part of it because I think Mineski's been able to consistently have an advantage in their lanes.
Yeah, I think that we walked away from the draft, and I think the first thing we said was that the laning phase was going to be critically important. Mineski might just be able to roll over them if they do get the right phase, and their choice was really smart, right? They knew, I think, that you don't want the Abaddon versus the Oracle Huskar lane, so you're going to try and switch things up. You're going to try and do some sort of aggro, so what they did is put Huskar mid, and then they had the side lane Death Prophet, and then they chose the Underlord in the 1v1 against Chalice. And poor Chalice, like every single time, this guy always gets like the worst offlane scenarios. He's always in like some sort of 1v3 where he's going to die constantly. And the one time he gets a 1v1, it's up against Ice, and it's up against an Underlord, a matchup you're just not going to be able to win in a 1v1. Yeah. So that poor guy, great laning phase performance on Ice. Nothing really Chalice could have done about that.
Well, he might well have to step up for game number 2 because LGD are up against it right now in the upper bracket final. Mineski just one game away from entering the top 4 on the DPC, and perhaps more importantly for them right now, entering the grand final here at the Dota 2 Asia Championships. We'll see you soon.